Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go. So BTC getting a little bit of a push to the upside per our oscillators and indications of liquidity coming up into this vector candle. Is it making a shoulder, head, and a shoulder for more downside? On the higher time frame, it looks like that could be the case. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go into high block capital to find out. So what is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and high block lets us see where those crispy characters lie in wait and or got burnt. Let's go check it out. So with that micro shift we were talking about to the upside, they did liquidate this $199 million 25x pool.
Fatality.
And they got him. And now with that opposite side of the spectrum, they have 185 million, 152 million, and 185 million pools in long opening up. So coming back into, if we zoom in here on the 1 minute time frame, we can see that this 100x pool of 185 million, they could come back down to fill in a bullish order block off some proper longs, not 100x longs, and they always rinse and repeat. This happened here in the opposite end to the shorts. They had the shorts open 100x as they were dropping into support, and boom, they came back all the way to the 50x. So chances are they'll come back to that 100x and beyond, and then we can do a fib retrace to find out where that bullish order block might be, with the tune of $4.4 billion imbalance now on the 1 minute chart. In order to see more, we have to expand our vision to the external liquidity pools of the 7-day and beyond. So let's do that now. We were talking about the 7-day having that imbalance and that we got it. Let's go ahead and set our thing to max liquidity, not relative, because they changed that for whatever reason. And so they came back to that 26 up to the 26.4 region and took out some of that imbalance. Can they continue higher for Run for Profit Friday? They very well could. So expanding our vision to the monthly now. Monthly doesn't show too much of an imbalance further up here, just single digits basically in the tune of 15 billion or so up to 27k. Can they continue beyond that point? Other than that, there is a heat signature down sub 24k that is thicker than above, but overall in the above regions you do have liquidity sparsed out amongst the ranges here to the tune that is thicker than below on the monthly. So it's slightly ambiguous on the monthly, and if you look at the 3 month and above, it's getting mighty hot down below sub 24k. So we talked about the idea of retracing up, taking out some of the liquidity, and possibly going even lower on this 3 and 6 month time frame. And even the 2 year, you'll see the pool down below is mighty large to leave behind. There's a $181 billion pool at 24.3, 133.24 even, 100 billion at 23.7, and 152 billion 23.4. So this entire region is screaming, take me on the higher time frames. And if you go to the 2 year, this pool accumulates to the $242 billion at 23.6. So do they go up to go down in this case? Let's find out as we go back to the monthly and into the Binance chart. Currently we're above the point of control of this sideways consolidation range, coming back, retracing into the vector candle. Where do we get rejected, if at all? Let's go ahead and throw a Fibonacci on here to show you plain as day where that could be. If you come back to the golden pocket there, that would put you at 27.105. That's going to line up with the liquidity on the momentum. So we're going to, this is left as is from yesterday. So let's go see if it finally, that's why we were not trying to short this, You don't want to short into support, really. You want to short tops. Good pattern trade, like good idea of cyclic behavior. As everyone's getting bearish and claiming, you know, going look out below, you got to look up. And let's go ahead and throw on our heads up display. Link in the description for more. MomentumMaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle this at all the toggle switches to see what it looks like instantiated. The rocket ships from the bottom of Bitcoin back in November. You can read about each component as well. So it looks like we got above the 4-hour cloud after previously having a rocket ship. What do you know? The rocket ships do something, right? So you can go back 2 streams ago on Wednesday. We talked about the rocket ship. We got a little wick-wacky here, and then now we're gone. We held the baselines from the 4-hour cross-up event back on Sunday, and we've been steadily holding this range, which is why we've been looking for this move to the upside, which trumps any move to the downside that may have occurred by the tune of 3.33%. And we came up to that pool and that 0.5 equilibrium range we were talking about to the T. Let's see how, wait. Maybe it's not to the T. Let's make sure it's, so we had it at 434 and we went to 442. Oh, I'm sorry, I was off by like $7. So let's reassess here. And this also has a large vector candle entering here. The first one was here after the pink stop volume candle, and then it turned into a green to create a shift in structure, and then they took it up. And this holding the cloud, this angle of the cloud was what we were looking at on the 4-hour. And if we also shift our attention to the daily started to curve but then went down further, so we deleted that line. However, this other curvature line is the 22 and above. We were talking about that hidden 22-hour play, because this curvature on the 22 and the 12 was what we were looking at alongside some of this momentum coming to fruition. So now this disparity between the RSI and the money flow starting to come back in with the money after the rocket ship that locked in on the 22. Williams in a good position for a rising sun event that could cascade to further upside. It is run for profit Friday. So if you're in a long, you can consider moving a stop into profit to just observe what's going on as we consolidate. 12-hour cloud rejection off that liquidity pool and that equilibrium level that we're at right now. If we look at the 12-hour time frame, just getting started for that subtle support of the 12-hour. Williams in a good position to continue, so we could be seeing some continuation play to break this super trend and beyond. If we go to the 6-hour event, 6-hour getting a blue vector, which is a stop volume candle, so this could be stopping volume only and could continue lower, which is why you move your stop into profit, because no one likes to see this type of dealio give everything back and then some. As it stands currently, we're respecting the super trend and the cloud that is bearish on the 6-hour here. Also had previous bullish divergence on the money flow, which started to play out with that candle thereafter. Rising sun event in play above the 50 level on the Williams here on the 6-hour, so that subtle support could carry you with the 12. And as we go lower to the 4, which we started to talk about in the beginning, 4 is now starting to get double topped potentially by the subtle support of the 6 and the 12. All right, let's go lower, see what the lower time frames are talking about. Got a bunch of vectors over basically the New York Open time, and started to express that shift. And if you were unsure, you could have seen that we were holding the cloud here, price action above baselines, above cloud. That is a clear idea to think about. And then this 22 and 12-hour cloud we also reclaimed, so that was a good thing. If you were not liking this wick wackiness, you could have waited until there and still seen a 2.62 percentile upside play with a little bit of leverage, 5x or so, you get like 10%. Anything beyond like 5x is a little bit insane with this boring price action that hits both sides. The market makers are not making as much, it's been said, so the more you expose yourself with more leverage, the more likely they're going to come get you. So let's go ahead and see what the 15-minute is looking like. 15 minutes starting to come down from overbought status. Williams overbought, potentially reset. So looking at the reset factor as we go into the daily candle close, we got a cross down event playing out right now. So how does this come down? One thing we can do is take the impulse from the bottom here. We'll take it from the wick down here. If you want to be frugal though, let's be frugal from this impulse where it started to shift out. So coming back down to the 25.9 region, and that also happens to coincide nicely with the thing we already had unchanged. So looking for a reaction for projection level number 2. So yesterday we said it would come up to here, it came up to here. Now next step, come down to the golden pocket, look for some sort of retest of the liquidity. Let's see if the liquidity lines up with this 25.9 region. 25.850 is at the 706 level. You have 185 million, was it? 185 million down there, 50x leverage, so they could come down to that alongside the 100x pools, and I would not be surprised. But that would also be your continuation idea of the play. And yeah, that's about it for the 15-minute, the hourly. Let's go ahead and make sure that this stochastic health is on. What is the stochastic health? Well, it tells you what these 4 time frames are up to, so you don't need to traverse them really. If you're on your phone, you can keep tabs on 4 time frames, and also you can do that with the multiple time frame screener down here. Bing. I'm going to save that, put those on, because that keeps getting deleted when I switch between templates. Okay. So yeah, you can see this basically reset. The hourly and the 4 hour are the things that are overbought right now. With the subtle 6 and 12 hour support, these could basically meander sideways and reset a little bit for a double or triple top area, which would coincide nicely with this bounce idea. So I don't think there's anything really we need to change about the projection from yesterday. The rocket ship was very clear on Wednesday. It came down to the stop hunt for the 100xers and gave the patient player a better entry, and then we've been going steadily to the pools to the upside since then. Let's go ahead and take a look at the total and dominance and all that. The total, we were saying, also coming up to a region here. We were saying it would pierce through and reclaim the cloud. It did reclaim the cloud here, and then that was where all she wrote from that point. Same continuation idea is in play for total. What was that cloud that we were looking at exactly? It was the 4 hour. So the 4 hour cloud angle here insinuated that we were going to shift, and sure enough we did. We'll delete that too. We'll just leave that angle there, and then we can update this more accurately to reflect what it did, like that. And if we go to total 3 doing the same thing with that cloud shift, shifting out, less intense because the altcoins have been a bit of a joke with Gala infighting and a bunch of other silly news which has no use case application, just a bunch of narcissistic people trying to cash grab. And going to DXY, the DXY still drifting higher after having this little cross up or cross down event here, hugging the Keltner channel. So when it does this, you can basically take a regression trend and go like from point to point, and it will do something like this. I would do it here though, and then you can basically see how it holds this parallel channel. This is kind of a bullish angle as it hugs the top of the Keltner, and this is reaching into territories unknown, so we can just delete this guy really quick. We achieved the bullish projection from back here in July, so that is complete. We have the double bottom, the shift, the pullback, continuation after the rocket ships on the DXY played out. And if we go to the where we're going now, we broke this range here at 104.685, and where are we headed? So there is another level that we're reaching into right here at the 105.82, this little liquidity range here. Are we going to go into some of these candles? Let's go ahead and see if there's any recovery that needs to occur here. Is the upside still inbound? And it's interesting because even though it was going up still, Bitcoin and NASDAQ did continue to go higher. So you do have these vectors. Next one looks to be, no, they traded fairly. Everything traded fairly on the hourly. Let's go to the 2 minute. So there was a drop out here from this range here. And essentially there. That's one. And that's about it. The other points are at the range high, which we already have marked off here. Let's be a little bit more precise with it here. That little BPR fair value gap idea has yet to be reclaimed here, all the way down to here. So this one is also a fair value gap at the top of the range. All right, so let's go back to the 12-hour real quick, see where it could possibly go. So those could be the exhaustion targets here if they want to shift it out. They already broke this range and are trending higher for the DXY. Down below you have some more too. We already know that. We were looking at the idea of possible pullback, but it's just drifting up to the moon. One thing was brought to my attention was the NQ contracts are expiring, so they're starting to do some shenanigans where they shift over to the new contract. So you'll notice things like this, these jumps. So you got to be careful trading, because they'll just jump up on you, $200 some odd as they shift to the end of the contract. So the September contract expire, this one, September. Let's see, when do NQ futures contracts expire? The roll dates. Here we go, equity index roll dates. Okay. The rollover is 9/11. Expiration is 9/8. So the expiration was today, which is why we saw this bounce on the NQ futures one, just jumped from 284 all the way up to 476 as they rolled over. So that was probably why they had that sell-off, as people were getting flat to re-enter on the roll date. So you got to pay attention to the roll dates of these 3-month contracts. We had the same shenanigans back in June, was it? Yeah, June 9th. So the expiration 9/15, 9/11. So for the NASDAQ, it's already happened. So NinjaTrader should provide you with the new contract soon. And that would be where the liquidity starts to trade. And so this is going to be dead from this point, or at least taper down as people realize that the volume has tapered. Something to note. And yeah, starting to see some stuff from gold. Apple had a little bit of dipperoo. Tesla holding. So it's Run for Profit Friday. Basically, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We're waiting for the retrace into the daily candle close / Asia London. We're going to come back down to this golden pocket and see what the reaction is the case there. It's already starting to happen on the 15th, starting to reset nicely here. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Optima NAS equals adult video game. It is fun. It is fun, wasn't it? We had that 4 for 4 yesterday. We were on a roll yesterday, knock on wood for today. Yeah, speaking of which, we'll just we'll go into that really quick. And then we gotta take my son to school. Hi, what's up? Good morning. You ready to go to school soon? No? Why not? Why? You don't want to? It's fun. I'm gonna go watch your sister at her school today. Yeah. So, yeah, to reiterate about that, let me go ahead and just do this, or it's gonna make me have to do that all over again. So this is what we are doing basically on the live stream for NQ. If you were wondering, we did something similar to this with Optima. Hi. So I'll give it to you afterwards, okay? I'll do the flip book after, all right? So, where is it? Wait, I gotta go back on this too. So this was what we were looking at the live stream. You can go back and recap. We were seeing this cross-up event on the 32nd after ABC. We took that for a good little ride here. And then you saw these bullish divergence signals, and then the money stacked on the table, and and we took that up, and then we sold off into momentum, and it came back down here. We took this golden pocket bounce. Basically after that there was ambiguousness on the 1 minute, but we saw the money stacked back onto the table, and the golden pocket clue was the math we were looking for, and then we took that back up for another 160 ticks, and then it came back down again, and then we put into this, it came back as it was going up, and then we put another contract 3 for 3, and then we rode that up. It's quite fun, all within the span of this hour. So that was a little interesting thing. Check it out if you're interested and you're new to NASDAQ. It's an interesting thing. We go over the footprints as well. So let's go ahead and go back to 6 hour, get out of this really quick, go back to the regular Momentum Master and wrap it up in a nutshell and bid you adieu. So something to be wary of is what that liquidity is screaming at on the 6 month, and for those pools down here, what are they saying for more? If we cannot get above the 27K region, you know that it's just a retrace into the liquidity before we potentially poop the bed down to here. So all's short-lived if it does not hold. And essentially this is just a consolidation range, right? We're just range bound within this 236 to 0.65 region so far. So not bullish, not bearish, just reading the momentum as it stands. So you have that subtle 6 and 12 hour support. What can it do to bring you up to this region or not? 15-minute is resetting as we speak into the Fibonacci zones and the liquidity on the 1 minute that we went over. To reiterate what that is, we have that 185 million down at 25,850. Deeper and complete retrace into that would be 25,631, but then that would just be a cat ear type idea to continue down lower. Got the rocket ship insinuating that some sort of more upside could be inbound, but the liquidity contradicting that as we speak, so be careful. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Basically, didn't change a thing from the TA of yesterday. We're going to see if we can come up to this pool on this 236, and what is the reaction at the 236 or not. That is the question. Thank you, everyone. So thank you for coming on in and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.